to like 100 songs, right? Songs that like, okay, like this is the sound I'm going for. I'll put that in, right? And then I'll start picking songs that I want to like start and end with, or just like good songs in general. So like, let's say for this show, I wanted to start with Black Magic Woman, right? And then I wanted to end with like Inner Bloom, I think, or I don't know, it might have been Never Be Like You. One of those, right? So then I look at the key, right? 7A, and then let's say to 6A, right? So I want to start at 7 and end at 6, right? So my logical progression would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So um that's when I start filling in the gaps, right? Because you see how I have like a song for each key, right? Um it's not always like that, right? Because or well, I make it like that, right? Because I'll have like I'll have like a 7 and a 2, 3, 4, 5, but I'll be missing some, right? I'll be missing like a 12 or like a 10 or 1, right? So then I go through my bigger playlists, right? And then I'll sort it by key, and then I'll look at those keys that I'm missing, and I'll pick a song to put in, right? I'll pick a few songs to put in, test them out, and then I'll narrow it down to like one or two that I'll keep in there. Yeah, definitely. Um, and yeah, when I'm stuck, like it's fine. So getting stuck is usually like um let's say like um I'll have like a song that I really want to play. Um Wait. So what gets me stuck? I feel like yeah, when I'm filling in the gaps, I get stuck when I can't find a song to like fit the vibe. So like sometimes it'll just be like an energy difference, right? So like can you hear if I play songs on here? Um you can't hear. Um mm, Here, let me I was sharing my window. Should I share my entire screen? Oh, to share audio, share a tab. Oh, well, I can't share a tab from my fucking record box. Okay, whatever, that's fine. But um, holy shit, what is happening? Hey, can you hear me? Okay, so like, let's say like I'll have. Can you hear this song that I'm playing? No. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's say just pretend like you hear this. It's like very chill vibes. It's like right, and then like let's say that like this is the next song I want to play. and this is a lot more energy. It's like so like that's usually what gets me stuck is that when like I have two songs that should go after each other based on key, but based on just energy and vibes doesn't fit together, right? And then that's when I have to go searching for another song, and that's like the hard part because let's say I want to play both of these songs, then I need to find another song that will mix out of one and into the other. So I need to find one that's kind of like a middle ground of these two, right? Which, maybe is like this one or this one, right? Sometimes you can jump around. And like the way I fix that is that like you don't have to just do like 10 to 9 or 9 to 8, right? Sometimes you can jump from like 7 to 9 or like 10 to 12, right? So it's not super strict. It's all just about testing it out and hearing what sounds good. Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said earlier, I don't like playing old songs. So the way I decide is I'll usually just look through the songs that I've been listening to recently, like since my last set, right? So let's say like that's when I'll sort by number, right? Instead of key, right? Because I'm looking at what are my newer songs. So since my last set was like um it was Zoo Boat and Evil 2. Okay, so like I'll look right around like let's say like here. This is where like I was looking for my last set, right? So then anything that I'm gonna include in my next set is gonna be like above here. It's gonna be like the new songs that I'm listening to, right? Um, or in this case, right, is my new unreleased songs. So I think for me personally, like you wanna have a mix of songs that like the crowd will know, right? But for me, like I think it's a flex to be playing like unreleased songs, like shit that people don't know. But it's like so you wanna play songs that people wanna hear, but even more so you wanna play songs that like the crowd didn't know that they wanted to hear, you know? It's like they hear it and they're like, wow, like what song is this? That's like so much. Yeah, exactly. That's like so much better than just having them be like, "Oh, I know this song. I know this song." Like, all right, cool, man. But like, yeah, you always want to play some like really shit that will blow minds. It'll just really impress people. Be like, "Wow, like I didn't even know this song existed. Like, where's this been? I need this. Give me that. Give me the ID." Right. So that's how I decide. That's like well, I guess that's like the the broader the broad way that I decide, right? Um, but obviously you can't always play like new songs, right? So sometimes I'll look, further back into my library. I'll look for songs that maybe I didn't include in one of my sets because it didn't fit the vibe, but then maybe it'll fit this vibe, right? Um, and sometimes I'll just look, but that's pretty tough. So usually it'll be like I'll look in the key that I'm missing, right? So like if I'm missing like a 9A, I'll go here to 9A, and then that's only like I don't know, that's a lot of fucking nines. But like this is only like maybe like 100 songs, 200 songs compared to like 700 songs that I have to look through to look for a track, right? And yeah, I mean, for me, I know most of these songs, or I know like the general vibe of them, and I know which ones are like really good and which ones are just like, oh, like I just downloaded this just to have it, you know. And then, I'll when I look when I'm listening to songs, I'll literally like I'll put it in, and I'll listen to like the beginning, and then I'll jump here, here, and then that's all. I won't listen to a song for more than like 20, 30 seconds unless it's really good, you know. It's like that's all I need to know if I want to put it in my set or not. Um, I don't know. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't fill the gap if I don't like it. But I think if it's popular enough and like it'll get the crowd going, I'll toss it in there. You know, because really, it's not about what I want. It's about what the crowd wants. So, um, sometimes there's songs that I don't really want to play, but I'll throw them in just because I'm like, oh, this will get a reaction from the crowd. But I don't really do that too often. Like, or I mean, sort of like fucking Mo Bamba, like this Mo Bamba edit. Like I'm not really a big fan of this edit, but we're playing at people, and I'm like, okay, this club kind of sucks. They would probably love this song. Like the people here suck, so they probably like this song. Yeah, exactly. Like the sexy red. Like I'm not playing this just by choice, you know? I'm playing this because I think it's what the crowd wants to hear. Um, and yeah, it also depends on like when I'm playing like back to back with another DJ, right? So like um I played with this kid Jean the other week, right? And he had some songs that I didn't really know that well, and I wasn't like a huge fan of them. He was throwing in like a bunch of like disco-y groove songs when I was going for more of an Afro vibe, but if you're working with another DJ, you gotta work with them. So you gotta let both of you equally, put your creativity in. So, this came out to be like half Afro house and then half disco house, right? And we made it work because, we know how to transition. So, no, yeah, yeah, you're all good. But yeah, that's, wait, what was the question again? Oh, when I if it's a song I don't like, yeah, yeah. That's about all. Yeah, yeah. Well, when it's something like that, you really gotta feel the vibe out because like a house party more so like a house party or a birthday party, that's really more for the people than it is for you. You know, compared to like if I'm playing a show and like I'm playing at Moxie or something, that's more for me. It's like, oh, this is my show. You guys are coming to see me, so I'm gonna play my style, right? But if you're at a party, a bunch of friends and stuff, like you just want to have fun, right? So you gotta feel out the vibe. I usually ask the host of the party, like, what do you want to hear? Because that's really what matters, right? And that's when I go digging into my old playlist. I have tons of like Spanish songs, Afrobeats, throwbacks, R&B, pop music, hip hop, drill music, rap music, and I even have like playlist specifically for like party rap, like tech house question mark. So I have a really big library. So when it comes to like finding tracks, I don't have trouble. Like I don't have trouble finding tracks in general. I have trouble finding the right track to come next. Right. So that's like there's two sides to the spectrum. It's like if you don't have enough songs, then you're gonna have trouble finding a song to play. Whereas if you have too many songs, you're gonna have trouble finding the right song to play. So um I like to just keep it within the same genre, right? So playing rap, and I'm gonna play rap next, right? But let's say maybe I've played rap for like an hour already, or like an hour or 2 hours, right? Then maybe I'll want to shit up to like pop music, right? Some throwback. So then I'll go play that, right? And then it's really like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm a fucking frat DJ. I grew up a frat DJ. I was born into this lifestyle. But yeah, that one doesn't really get played all that much. It's not a big one. But like shots, like every party. Come on, international love, baby boy, like this is so easy. It's just hit after hit after hit. And I used to play the same few songs like every party, fucking party rock. Eh, Time of Our Lives, every single party. Fireball, every single party. Fucking Fire Burning, every single party. And yeah, and that's for the white people. That's when we go to the white frat parties. Yeah. Calabria, every party. So uh, once I have my vibe, I have my groove, it's all good. I don't really have any trouble. But when I'm switching, like let's say when I'm switching from rap to pop, right? I need to find that one song that blends the two together. Or like if I want to switch from pop to house music, right? I have to find that one song that, eases in the transition. So yeah. Oh, hold on, no one's calling me. Hey, no. I'm on the call with Sarah right now. Okay. I just want to say one thing. What's up? Figure out how to gain motivation during the day and lose motivation during the nighttime. I could tell you the simple answer right now, but yeah, I know you don't want to hear it. Okay, I'll call you after I'm done. Hope you get it. What do you mean get it? Interview? I'm not interviewing for a job. Alright, bye. Alright, so What were we talking about? Yeah. Hmm. Energy. So I think energy is good. It's hard, like it's hard to, or like like I don't know, logistically it would be hard to have like a computer program that analyzes the tracks and determines the hype level. But I think there actually is a program that does that, a website that does that. Um, but yeah. Um, Let me say, are you familiar with mixed in key? Uh, because wait, yeah. Here, I can just show it to you if you want. So mixed in key, it does that. So it gives each song an energy rating, which I'm not sure how. I'm not sure exactly how they do that, but um, yeah, I think you should like research this company because it might be pretty similar to what you're going for. Um, but yeah, back to Record Box. I mean, what some DJs do is they'll use their rating, right, and then they'll rate the track, like the energy of the track, um, based on that. But I think having like an automated process would save a lot of time because the only way you can really do this is if you know the song and you have to listen to the song, right? And that's also like it's also pretty subjective, right? Because it depends on how you think of the song, right? If you think it's hype or not. Or it's subjective to a point. It's objective to a point, right? So, but in an ideal world, I think one another thing that would help, especially with Afro House, is finding songs or like maybe like relating, like finding related songs by like drum pattern or hi hat pattern or like synth pattern, right? Because when I'm mixing, sometimes like I'll have two songs where like the hi hats like they clash so much, and like even if I turn off the highs from one song, like it'll still be clashing somehow. Like the mids, kind of like especially in Afro House, like the hi hats are high EQs, but the shakers are mid EQs, and the toms are also mid EQs. So if I'll have like the hi hats on one song with the shakers on another, sometimes it'll just sound like shit. And the drum pattern, yeah, 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 and the drum patterns too, like um, drum patterns, like they obviously there's a lot to talk about drum patterns because like they differ. Like drum patterns are one of like the most defining characteristics of like a song's genre, right? And so most songs within a genre will have pretty similar drum patterns. Like tech house is literally everything has the same drum pattern, which I mean that's been changing recently. As we get more innovative, as artists get more innovative, patterns are changing up. So I think um, the drum sound and the drum pattern, like having something to like describe those or visualize them or something, that would help. Um, because, and I guess not even Afro House is more about like the hats and like the percussion and stuff. But let's say like Groovy House, right? Let's say like this new Matroda track, fucking like Matroda always uses these same kicks, or like Pasa always uses the same kicks that are like boom, 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 right? And then Matrodas are more like mid kicks. They're like um right, and that can really throw you off when you're mixing if you're not expecting that. Or like Chase West. Chase West is always like where's Chase West? And then or like Greg Santos and Clooney. Clooney and Greg Santos are always like they always have the same hats, right? The I'm looking for right now. Mm, but yeah, like even though they look the same on let me find some like this guy Greg Santos. It's like it's always that same with like the Latin tech house is always that same like hats. Um, but then let's say let's say like Pasa, very deep kick drum, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but yeah, yeah, that's good. No, not too broad. I mean, you could be more specific with it just because I think like Spotify already does that and like a lot of streaming services already do that, right? They have like your taste profile and that's very heavily like in line with like data science, like high level data analytics. Huh. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. That's really interesting. Yeah. And I think that has to do with I think I mean like let's say if you were to make something that could do that, you'd have to speak with like a data scientist and an audio engineer, right? because you'd have to have something that can analyze a song and analyze the sounds in the song. Um, which is like you can do that if you have the what's it called? If you have the if you have the stems for a song, right? If you have like the stems straight from the production, it's like straight from the Ableton file of the song, you can analyze you can analyze like the specific like synths or kicks you're hearing, percussion you're hearing, and you can find songs with that same type of synth or kick or percussion, right? So yeah, I think that would be because I completely feel the same way. How like I want it like if I like make a radio station on a song and I wanna hear songs that sound like that song, not songs that are similar to like that artist or like similar to that genre or whatever. So yeah, yeah, definitely. I think right now like you have to be able to know your music well, right? Because there's not really anything that tells you that. You just have the title, the artist, BPM, and key, right? So I mean, I don't. Yeah, and I think that would be good. That would be useful for DJs, and I think some of the more old school DJs would be like, oh no, you should know your music, dig through crates, yada yada. But I think in the new age that would help, definitely help. Um, well, for me, I just don't want to pay for anything. There's different software that already do that, like mixed in key, right? But mixed in key costs like, let me see, how much does this cost? $58 to analyze your music files and use harmonic mixing. Yeah, and then they have like plugins that'll like go up to like $174, $127, 400, 500, $700. Like, yeah, for me, like, I mean, if I had money, I probably would try it out and use it. But I don't. So I will. I will. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's like there's a whole thing about like musical ethics, right? Like downloading your music from like third party websites and stuff. Like I don't know. I think that kind of ties in. Everything ties into it. In an ideal world, you'd be able to use these kind of technologies and download songs. But yeah, exactly. I mean, I think automated suggestions can be really good sometimes, and I think other times they'll just completely miss the mark. So that's why, it's important to have the option to do both, right? I don't know. I mean, I think it's really just about time and dedication. You know, there was a point where my entire library was organized. Like every song was formatted properly. It had cue points and stuff. But as your library gets bigger, um, that gets more difficult. You just have to put in a lot more time, and you have to be passionate about the music. And I mean, I'm sure if there's some programs that would help it a lot, right? Even like saying like setting cue points. If you can make something that automatically set cue points, that would also be great. um. Oh God. It's kind of all over the place. I mean, okay, not really. There's a method to it, right? Um. So for me personally, I usually start with just a four measure loop for like almost all of my songs, right? And to clarify, this works because I get the extended versions of pretty much all of my songs, right? So those first four beats, there won't be too much going on. It'll be very loopable. So I'll set that first loop, and typically, right, I'll set the second cue point wherever something change. Like, let's say, like if something drastically changes, like in this song, I set the second cue point. Like nothing happens here. This is all the same, and then at B, the vocal comes in, right, and then at C, this is when the first this is like the build up right to the drop where like the bass cuts out and it builds up to the drop, and then D, the drop is usually on D or E, right? Or like the beginning of the chorus, right? But in some songs it'll be like here, like my second cue point is where like the synths come in, right? So the first is just drum and percussion, and then at B the synths start to play. Um, yeah, for the most part. But it really depends on the song, because like some songs, like let's say this song, I loop it from 4 to 8 instead of 1 to 4, because when I loop it from 1 to 4, it just doesn't sound right. The loop doesn't sound like that good, because like in some songs it'll be like, oh, the first 8 measures, like the sound will like gradually increase, so like it'll sound weird. If you start like from the beginning and loop it, yeah, and they'll like add like other synths in and stuff. But yeah, generally that's generally how I set my cue points. I also like to set a cue point at the end of songs. Um, this is usually when I'm prepping for sets, just so I know like how much time I have left to transition out, right? And then or I know like, okay, I need to loop now because I won't have the opportunity to loop later, right? Like especially if you don't have the extended version of the song, then you're going to have to really be quick with it. You're really gonna have to know, like, um, let's say like this song one more time. This is only 2 minutes long, so when it gets here, I have to loop it here. Well, I don't really have I only have a few more measures, and then it's done. So if I don't loop it here, then the song is gonna stop playing, right? and that if you're on point with your mixing, you could get away with it. But this generally gives you a lot more time to ease in the next song to transition a little slower, gradually, gradually. Yeah. Yep. And the cue points also has to do with phrasing. Like, you know what phrasing is? Yeah. So for me, I don't usually like press my cue points, right? Like the song has like six cue points, right? And I'll never really touch these. I'll never just click on this, right? I'll only click on the first one to start playing, right? This is more just for me to know when something is coming, right? It's like a heads up, like, okay, something's about to change right here, like at C right here, something's about to come in, right? So I'm ready for it to come in if I'm like transitioning out of the last song still. Like I know that someone's gonna come in, so here the hi-hats come in, so I'll turn down the highs of the other song that's playing in preparation for that. And so yeah, it's more just like it's a heads up. It's not something that like I'll like actually skip to. And that helps you like understand your music better because you start to like see your music in these portions, right? And like I can literally like eyeball, like I can tell you from like B to C is 8 measures and C to D is 16 measures. I can tell you that just by looking at the waveform here. But yeah, but like you get used to it because I set look how many cue points I have. I have literally like thousands of songs with cue points on them, and yeah, like you get used to it. You get used to that distance, right? And then that also helps with counting in your head because like like if I know I have 16 measures until the next like the big change, right? And then like if I'm like DJing, right? Then sometimes I won't even need like cue points, right? Like let's see, like here the waveform changes. That there's gonna be like another 8 measures right here, and then another 8 like right here, right? And that repeats. It's all practice, like literally muscle memory with your brain. It's good. I'm glad to help. All right, nice. I still didn't do your thing yet. I didn't fill out the Google form yet, but yeah, I'll do that later today. Yeah, I feel you. Mhm. No, no, I got you. Yeah, I'll send you a list of people that might be down. I have. Yeah. I mean, I'll shoot them a text. I'll ask them if they want to do like an interview about DJing for your project. Um, yeah. So I'll text them. I'll see what's up. I could maybe get like 3 people, three, 3 or 4, maybe even more. I'm in this chat that like we just had an open decks the other week. Um, so there's a bunch of DJs in there that might be down. So I might be able to get you like 5 or 7. But I will, yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated on that. Of course, yeah. I'd love to help out anytime. Uh-huh. Yeah. You know, I actually also want to do that. Like, I'm really interested in going into like the data analytics and data science behind music, and it's a pretty like niche field. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. You should apply. You should apply to Sony. Sony has a data analysis rotational program. I'll send you the link for it. 'Cause, it's for like students. It's for people who are still in school. So I can't even fucking do it unless I enroll in a master's program, which I might, but I'm not sure yet. But I'll send you the link for that. So you should check that out. But yeah, I also want to do that. It's interesting. Very niche. You know, it's hard to find like a lot of like information about that. Pioneer? Pioneer? Because Pioneer is actually out the data now. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know. Like, let me know how your project like progresses. Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Anytime.